Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Ellen. I'm an artist. I do makeup. I do get ready with me's. If you are looking for like something to put on in the background while you do stuff, or you're looking for inspiration like creatively, then this is the channel for you. If you are new here, that is the vibe, that is the energy. If you're looking for a makeup tutorial, this is not it, girl. This is like a get ready with me, do my makeup with me style video and chat, like a makeup and chat style video. And today I'm going to be talking about the movie Sinners. So, I saw the movie twice. I did not get to see it in IMAX, but I feel like my experience seeing it was still pretty good. I saw it once in the opening weekend with my sister, and I saw it again last weekend with my partner. And I noticed things the second time around that I didn't notice or was able to pick up on the first time around. But also, I've been seeing a lot of discourse online that is making me notice a lot more. And I feel like if I see the movie again, I'm probably gonna notice something different. So in order to prevent rambling in this video, I made some bullet points in my iPad about some of the things that I noticed. If you notice some things that I didn't mention in this video, please comment below and I might do a part 2 if you guys want. If it's like a longer list that you guys want me to get into more. But yeah, so I'm doing my makeup. So we're gonna do my makeup a cute, vampy way, and we're gonna talk about Sinners. So the first thing I noticed, which may or may not have been intentional, when Remick fell into the screen the first time around, I didn't get that he fell from the sky the first time I saw it. It didn't make sense until the second time I saw it because of the flying scenes later on. Okay, so I forgot to mention. Okay, so there's gonna be spoilers in this video. If you haven't seen the movie Sinners, y'all, if you don't see nothing else this year, go see Sinners while it's in theaters because it is such a theater experience. I have never gone to the movies to see a movie twice a day in my fucking life. A day in my life. I have never wanted to see a movie multiple times in theaters a day in my fucking life. If you have not seen Sinners, go see it. This video isn't going to make sense for you if you haven't seen it and everything. If you're one of those people that's like, oh, I don't want to see it because it's a horror movie and I don't like horror movies, I don't like being scared, this is not that type of vibe. Like, there aren't any crazy jump scares and, you know, typical horror movie tropes. Like, I feel like there was a lot of thought put into this movie. There was a lot of research put into this movie. Like, it's such good storytelling. Like, it's actually good. I feel like it's raising my standards for the type of content that I want to engage in and the type of content in which I am interested in producing. If you have not seen Sinners, do not watch this video because I don't want to give you spoilers. But yeah, so let's get back to the first scene. So when they first showed Rennick falling, I thought that he was like at the back of a truck and they threw him off, or he jumped off, or something. I wasn't getting that he fell from the sky. And upon seeing it the second time around and noticing that, I was like, oh, that reminds me of that story about Icarus and how he was given wings but told not to fly too close to the sun, but then fell because the wings were made out of wax. And it's kind of like a story about being humble, but also I took that as a story about don't F around and find out, okay? Don't F around and find out. Don't do that. Like, that's how I took the story. So upon seeing like that first scene and going back and seeing it a second time and noticing that, oh, he did fall from the sky because he actually can fly, I just kind of noticed that and everything. I forgot the white people's name, the Klan couple. We're just gonna refer to them as the Klan couple. The Klan couple that answered the door they were eating because they were eating them and their baby RIP. They were eating because they were more willing to trust the words of a random white man that was quite literally sizzling. And I didn't get when I first saw the movie that he was sizzling because he's a vampire and the sun is up. I just thought it's the 1930s, it's Mississippi. Maybe they haven't invented the right sunscreen yet. Like maybe he needed like sunscreen SPF 1000. Like I wasn't getting that. Oh, this is the vampire of the movie. It didn't make sense until the story started to unfold. So I don't know. I didn't do any research about this movie. I didn't even understand that it was going to be about vampires. The only thing I knew about this movie is that it had Michael B. Jordan in it, and it was kind of like an old-timey film set in the Deep South. I didn't know what to expect. I didn't watch any previews. I didn't read any synopses. So I went into this movie blind and not knowing. So I saw the movie and I was kind of naive about what was really going on, and it didn't really catch on until the second time around. So yeah, I was surprised when I saw this movie with my sister and she suggested the movie because she is not the type of person that likes to see horror movies. She doesn't watch, like, she didn't watch American Horror Story. She's not gonna watch The Exorcist. She's not gonna watch True Blood or Vampire Diaries, Twilight, none of the things. She don't want nothing to do with that. So when she suggested seeing this movie, she was like, yeah, I just knew that it had Michael B. Jordan in there and he was gonna be a twin, and I just thought it was gonna be a vibe because it's done by Ryan Coogler and it's not like Nosferatu or anything. And I'm like, same. I also wasn't about to go see Nosferatu. Like, no offense to the people that made that movie, but as soon as I heard that there was like 50,000 rats used for the movie, I was like, hell no. Hell to the motherfucking no. And as soon as I saw that people were saying that like the movie was kind of like an analogy for rape, I was like, ew. I don't want to see that. But yeah, I saw this movie blind. I didn't know that it was going to be about vampires. I didn't know that Michael B. Jordan was going to be a twin. I just knew that he was in it, and that's all I needed to know because that man is fine. Like, are you new here? But yeah. So I feel like the white people got eaten by him. I feel like it was like an allegory for how racism is expensive and how the current presidency is now. Like, we're in the shit show that we're in now as a country because you guys are more willing to trust the words of a deceiving white man that wants nothing more than to take everything that you got and more and deprive you of everything than you are to trust a person of color that is coming to warn you and say, hey, that person isn't who they appear to be. That's not who they say they are. You really should let us handle this. You really should allow us to come in and handle the situation because we are the experts and everything. But by the time the Choctaw people got there, the husband was already 8, and so was the baby. Which RIP the baby, because I'm glad they didn't show the baby getting eaten, because I would have. I can't watch nothing like that. What you mean that y'all out here eating babies and stuff? I feel like Ryan did a good job of telling the story and alluding to certain things without showing too much to the point where it was graphic and like painful to watch. Like, it was a very light, it was very like respectful, very mindful, very demure of him to do that, because baby, I wouldn't have watched the rest of that fucking movie if I had to see them people eat a baby. I would not have done it. I would have walked the fuck out if I had to sit there and watch them eat a fucking baby. I'm sorry, I'm just not gonna do it. Like, I know it's fiction or whatever, but no. Absolutely not. So I'm glad they didn't show the scene of them eating the baby, because I would not have stayed to watch that. I just wasn't interested in watching anything crazy. One reason why I don't go to see horror movies, particularly in theaters anymore, because I have learned my lesson. I learned that when it comes to horror movies, sometimes I need breaks. Sometimes I need to pause it, walk away, and come back. Or sometimes I just need to go find something else to watch, because it can be a bit overwhelming. So I was afraid that would happen, but it didn't, because the way that it was done was very mindful, very demure, very aware.
You see how I do my makeup for work? Very demure, very mindful. I don't come to work with a green cut crease.
So that was cool. I feel like he alluded to a lot of things without really showing too much. And I feel like that's, the direction that a lot of filmmakers and like TV shows need to take. Like, y'all can tell a story and tell us what happened without showing us every little fucking thing. Like, we really don't need to get into it that much. So I really like how mindful and demure the baby getting eaten was. But also, it was also like a symbolism of how quickly shit could happen when you mess around and you find out. I did not feel bad for the clan couple getting eaten. I feel like, okay, well, that's what y'all get for being racist.
Fuck, whatever. I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck. Do I look like I give a fuck? Because I don't.
That's what y'all get, Not all skin folk is kin folk, and that goes for y'all too. It really be your own people. Also, notice how Remick changed his Irish accent to be more like a country accent when he was talking to the clan couple versus when he was trying to get into the juke joint. His real Irish accent came out more when he was trying to get into the juke joint. Okay, so I'm editing this video, and I also want to say that Remick was funny as hell. Like, he was cracking me up. Like, when he did that fucking switch up at the beginning, I noticed it. The second time around I watched it, funny as hell. I didn't know that white people code switched. That was interesting. When he showed up at the door and got rejected, and he was all pouting like, we're gonna walk away slowly just in case you change your mind. Bitch, I ain't never seen a vampire pout before. Like, what? That shit was funny as hell. When he was talking shit to Grace in her native tongue, and then Grace was like, that white devil just spoke Chinese. I was like, I didn't know that the Chinese people were calling white people white devils back then. Like, I know she's from Mississippi and all, but like, damn. In a way, why was he talking that sexual to her? Like, oh yeah, I got in your husband's head and I know how you like to be licked. Like, bitch, what the fuck? Are you trying to kill me or fuck me? What the hell is happening right now? Like, were you threatening to rape her? What the? I don't understand. I don't understand. Yeah, Remick funny as hell. Delta Slim funny as hell. When Sammy went in that door and he told him, like, oh yeah, you can go in there. He knew that them people were getting busy in there. And then we saw what they were doing and he closed the door. He was like, oh, so he busy, huh? What else did you think that they were doing in there, sir? Why did you tell him to go in? Just, like, I really love how unserious this movie was, as well as being serious at the same damn time. Like the more I think about this movie, the more I laugh, because when Annie was starting to tell them people that, oh, at first I thought that it was a hint, but actually it's a vampire, A lot of you guys don't know what a haint is, and you're not gonna pick up on that, and that's okay. We'll get into what a haint is in a different video if you guys want to discuss. But if you don't watch people like the Black Cauldron, Rebecca's Journey, or anything like that, you're just not gonna pick up on why Annie thought that they were haints instead of vampires. If you are not up on like Southern folklore, if you've never heard of people painting their doors blue, like haint blue, like you're just not gonna get it, okay? But when Annie was telling them like, oh, that's not a haint, that's a vampire, and Delta was like, oh yeah, I met a vampire once. Like, she was light skinned and she bit me everywhere but my neck. Sir, most of the club is outside, dead, turned into vampires trying to eat us right now. What the fuck are you on? Oh my gosh. Like, bruh, this movie is like serious but unserious at the same damn time. Okay? Serious and unserious at the same damn time. Perlene was getting on my fucking nerves in that garlic scene. Like, eat the cake, anime. Eat the fucking cake. Okay? That's why I don't like garlic. You were about to get shot. Okay? You were about to get shot. You can have all the garlic you want in the fucking afterlife, because that's where you about to be if you don't eat that fucking garlic. You just got your cat ate and now you had all the confidence in the world and think you better than everybody. No, eat that fucking garlic, okay? Eat the garlic. Like, what are we doing? Eat it. So, yeah. I feel like the preacher and Remick are one and the same. Like, both of them are vampires. Both of them wanted Sammy's gift for their own gain. And one of them wanted the best for him. What's really grimy about the preacher, even though he was only in there for less than 5 minutes, is that the parts that he was in really speaks volumes, okay? It's so loud, like it speaks volumes as to his character. Like, they showed Sammy wake up all 11 of his siblings. They showed his mama doing laundry. And back then, they didn't have washing machines. So she was like hand washing the clothes. Everybody else was like picking cotton and everything. That man woke up, put on a fucking suit, went under the bed to take that kid's guitar and set it in the church and wait for Sammy to come see him about that damn guitar. Ain't nobody was in that damn congregation. It wasn't Sunday. There was no reason for him to be in that fucking church. Everybody else in the movie is working, doing something productive, and he's just standing there. Everybody else's clothes is all tattered and worn. Sammy's vest is all patched up, and the pastor's suit is like brand new, clean, and smooth. I don't know, it was given pimp behavior, okay? It was given pimp behavior, like, and then when they get to the scene with Cornbread and his wife, he said he was behind on his quota and he had to work. So that means that the sharecroppers had quotas. And the plantation they were on had quotas. Like, everybody had their own quotas for how much cotton they had to pick to, like, feed into the system. Do you think that Sammy's family had to work extra to make up for the work that the preacher wasn't doing because all he did was preach? It's like, sir, church is only on Sundays for a couple of hours. There was no reason for you to be in there. He just wanted to assert dominance, and he just wanted to assert dominance and like pass judgment on to Sammy and be self-righteous and try and convince him not to go out there and show his talent to the world, because he wanted to contain it for himself. He wanted Sammy's talent to only be used to lure in the people for the church so that he can have more people in his congregation, not to see him and what the fuck he got to say, but to listen to Sammy play. Like, he did not want the best for his own child. He only wanted what's best for him. And he's weaponizing the religion against him. Like, he specifically wanted Sammy just to make an example out of him. So I just felt like they were one and the same, okay? One and the same. I have my own religious trauma. I don't like the idea of preachers and churches and stuff. So that might be just me, but I just feel like the real vampire was the preacher in this movie. The real vampire is white supremacy. The real vampire is Christian religion and how it was forced upon our ancestors. And I know when people say that, they're like, "Nuh-uh, there was Christianity in Africa. There's Christianity in Ethiopia." Respectfully, disrespectfully to some of you, bitch, you are not Christian because Ethiopia. Ethiopia didn't drag your ancestors from all sorts of countries in Africa, drag you on a slave ship, and force you to work the field after already massacring the people that were already here and forcing that shit upon you. Ethiopia ain't had shit to do with that. Ethiopia don't even recognize the calendar that we use. Like, to them, it's like 2014. They're in a whole other universe, okay? Ethiopia ain't got shit to do with you and the colonizers serving the same God, okay? Ain't got shit to do with it. And it's not even practiced in the same way. Like, their version of Christianity is more close to, like, modern Judaism. Like, it's a whole other thing. And the way that they approach it is completely different. So, I said what I said. The real vampire is Christianity and white supremacy, because white supremacy uses Christianity to weaponize against people to create the illusion of supremacy, because it really is delusion. And being Delulu is not the Salulu, and that's why the Klan got killed at the end. But anyways, that's besides the point. So, when Smoke and Stack are first introduced, they are protective of Sammy immediately. They're like, "Hey, you know, how's everything going between you and your pops? You know, he's not beating you or anything, is he?" And I could tell by the way that they asked that question that they really are about that life, and they really don't play about their little cousin. And if Sammy had said yes, I don't doubt that the twins would have confronted him about it. Like, preacher or not, I don't care, you know, what your spirituality is. You're not about to put your hands on my cousin. Okay, like, we not about to do that. Especially since their father was abusive to them. And they had the experience of dealing with that on top of the war and everything. And on top of them being veterans, I feel like to them it's like, bro, I did not go off to war to fight for freedom for my country just to come home and see my people still going through it. Like, their whole thing was all about freedom. Not just about making money, but like allowing themselves and their people to have freedom by any means necessary, and, you know, not letting their circumstances get in the way of it. So I just feel like it would have been a completely different movie if Sammy had said yes and the twins had to confront the preacher. Like, why you putting your hands on my cousin? Because, like, what's good? I just want to talk. I like how protective they are of Sammy immediately, and I feel like that set the tone for the film and who the main character is really about. So, even though the twins are like the main appeal. The real star of the show is Sammy, and all about doing everything that they can to protect him and protect his gifts, because they realize that by him being as talented as he is, he's a representation of freedom for their people, and he's a representation of the ancestors and all that they had to survive in order to get to the point where we are today. And I really like how they were all about celebrating and embracing his talent and allowing him to have the opportunity. And also we find out that they're the ones that gave him the guitar in the first place, because they saw his interest in music and felt like giving him that would empower him even further. I'm also curious as to how people learned how to play instruments back then without lessons. Like, there was no YouTube or like people doing classes or whatever. Like, how did people pick up instruments and be able to play them? So that just speaks volumes as to how talented Sammy is and how important it is to protect him and his talents. I feel like the snake scene was kind of foreshadowing how the twins take care of each other, but also how the rest of the movie is really gonna go. Like, snakes represent treachery, snakes represent freedom in some religion, some spirituality. Snakes, represent betrayal and trickster energy, trickster spirits, depending on what you believe in. I also feel like if religion has a chokehold on you to the point where you view this movie as being demonic, you're not getting the point. Like, the point just went over your head. And if you're not tuned to certain things, you're not gonna pick up on everything. And I'll get more into that later. So I just thought that was interesting how they incorporated the snake. Like, there were no dogs, there were no cats. I didn't see any other animals in this movie, but they made sure to include the snake. How one brother protected the other. I forgot which was which in that scene. I feel like I was able to tell the difference more the second time around than I was the first time. I'm like, okay, one of them twins. So in this scene, I don't remember what twin was what, but one passed the knife to the other twin, and that twin killed the snake before it got a chance to get to him. Like, just show like how they both just take care of each other and how they both look out for one another. And I just thought that was such a cool thing to see, because clearly they're a little rough around the edges. Clearly they're a little gangster. Clearly they about that life. But underneath that hard exterior, there's this longing for freedom, and the way that they interact with the people that they love and care about is just, I don't know, it has like a certain amount of softness to it mixed in with that hardness, and it makes their characters more redeemable and understanding. Like, I don't think you're a bad person. I think you're a victim of your circumstances, and I think that you're doing the best to cope with things as best as you possibly can. Like, I have a certain amount of empathy for them, despite knowing that they're gangsters, despite knowing that Stack was a pimp, despite knowing that they were killing and robbing people. I didn't care about none of the shit that they were doing to harm people. I was just so like, wow, they really do care about protecting themselves and their people and uplifting each other, and that's such a beautiful thing to see. So I like their relationship and how it showed there. I noticed that negotiation is like a common thing throughout the movie, and all about like advocating for yourself and your needs and not just accepting whatever the hell people just want to offer you. And I think that's such an important message for a lot of people to see, including myself. Like, we need to practice negotiating more. We need to practice like realizing our value and our potential. Like, I know that a lot of people feel like the first sign of negotiating was when, was it Smoke or was it Zach? One of them twins was at that grocery store, and he was talking to the little girl to watch his car and offering to pay her to watch it, and he was trying to show her like how to bargain and like advocate for her worth and everything, and not just accept whatever people give her. Like, I know people feel like that was the first sign of negotiating in the film, but I feel like the first sign of negotiating in the film was when Remick was trying to get in that damn house. Like, he was like, hey, the Choctaw are after me. Can you let me in? And he was negotiating with them to let him into the house. Like, negotiation was just a common theme throughout the movie. Like, you saw it at almost every point. Like, somebody's always trying to negotiate something with someone in some way. And also knowing that Ryan Coogler was able to negotiate a deal where he is able to own the full rights to the film and all the royalties after like 25 years, which apparently is uncommon. So I feel like Ryan Coogler put negotiation as a theme in the movie as like a way to like get everybody to advocate for themselves more. Like, y'all need to negotiate, y'all need to advocate for yourselves, you need to like understand what's going on and know your worth and advocate for like your work being protected and honored. So I thought that was a pretty cool thing to see how that was a theme in the movie. It's definitely something I noticed. So I have a list, and that's what I'm looking at. When we get introduced to Grace, and I think it was Smoke. Okay, so I think that this was Smoke. So when Smoke was negotiating with Grace about trying to get her to like come to the juke joint and paint the sign and stuff, she said that she only had red. And apparently in Chinese folklore, red is a bad omen when it comes to paint, but it's a good omen when it comes to money. And I just think that's like a very interesting juxtaposition for the film, given that negotiation is a common thing and there are Chinese Americans here. I briefly, and I do mean briefly, maybe it was a paragraph or two, remember learning about Chinese immigrants coming to the U.S. to help build the railroads after slavery was overturned. Briefly. And also briefly remember like something about Mexican people coming here to help build the railroad, but then they were deported. Sounds familiar. History isn't repeating itself, it's being copied. So, like, that was interesting. I saw that video of that one Hispanic man. I don't know what he was talking about, but he was trying to say, oh, how come you guys didn't have Latino representation, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, first of all, Ryan doesn't owe you guys anything. This was a black-ass movie about black-ass people in the fucking black-ass Mississippi Delta. And there was a nod to Hispanic people. There was a whole fucking tamale stand there. It was abandoned because this was placed in the 1930s. And if you guys, history, like you open up a history book, do a quick Google search or whatever, you'll learn that the reason why there was no Mexicans in this film is because historically there were no Mexicans in Mississippi at this time because they all got scammed. They were told that they would have pathways to citizenship if they come and help build the railroads. They came, helped build the railroads got built, and all of them got rounded up and sent back to Mexico. And that's why that tamale stand was sitting there abandoned. Because tamales was a form of affordable cuisine that they could rely on and a piece of their culture, and that was able to share with everybody. Like, so there's that for your Latino representation. Also, you guys don't support Latino representation in film. I didn't even know that Blue Beetle was a fucking thing until this guy's video popped up complaining about the lack of Latino representation. And y'all let that flop. There is a whole Spider-Man universe with Miles Morales, a Latino. And it's one of the lowest grossing Spider-Man movies that has ever come out. So you guys don't actually care about Latino representation. You just feel entitled to black people's spaces. But you say the N-word and you voted for Trump. So I don't take people like that seriously. But I feel like Grace and Bo's characters are very important to remind people that yes, there were Chinese immigrants in the South in the 1930s. And I really like how they showed how when Bo told Lisa to go get her mom, she walked across the street to the other store. Now, when I first saw the movie, I didn't fully get why they had two stores. But upon the same time, I noticed that one store was for black people and the other store was for white people. And at this time, it was during Jim Crow, where segregation was still a thing. And the reason why it's so significant to show that is because back then, black people could not get business loans to own a business. We even saw that they were paid wooden coins, which is only valuable to the plantation. So they can only circulate that money amongst each other. It wasn't actually valuable outside of the plantation. So because the plantations weren't paying them real money, they didn't even have anything. And they were getting barely paid as is, their actual worth. And the reason why it was legal to pay them wooden money is because black people were not considered to be humans. Black men specifically were considered to be 3/4 of a man, but black women were not considered to be women. So when people say, oh, how come black people don't have anything? How come you guys don't have generational wealth? You guys have been here for like 200 years. My family came here with 2 cents and a picture of my great-great-great-grandma and was able to build a multi-million-dollar business. How come you guys weren't able to do the same? That's why. That example is why. Because our ancestors, not even that long ago, a lot of people from that time period are still alive today. So, yeah, like a lot of people are still alive. A lot of people from that time period specifically are still alive today. And you guys love to be like, how come black people don't have anything? You guys are lazy, blah, blah, blah. We were paid in wooden coins. The 13th Amendment did not end slavery. It made it so that you can be a slave as long as you're a prisoner, which set the tone for private prisons. You notice how they went through the fields, there was prisoners picking cotton? Yeah, like that's one of the reasons why we don't have wealth. And also, you notice how Remick told them that the Klan is coming to kill them, even though they paid their money for that place just because they didn't want black people to have anything. Like, I have never heard of a Mexican or a Chinese community having the whole damn neighborhood bombed, the whole damn neighborhood destroyed. I've never heard of a Tulsa, Oklahoma level occurrence happen to other ethnic communities aside from the Native Americans in order to build things. So when people ask, like, oh my gosh, black people are so lazy, how come you guys don't have anything? This is an example of exactly why. Because our ancestors were killed every time they tried to build something, because we weren't allowed to get bank accounts, because we weren't allowed to get bank loans, and all of the things. But Chinese Americans were considered model minorities. And because they weren't black, but they weren't quite white either. So white people had slightly more respect for the Chinese people than they did for the black people. And it just created this hierarchy between people of color. So is black people, is native, is Mexican, is Chinese, and people that fall into those mixed demographic cracks. But still to this day, Asian people are considered the model minority. So I feel like it was important to show their characters and how that plays into why things are the way they are today. All right, so let's get into Delta Slim. I feel like it's easy for someone from the outside looking. I feel like the man who plays Delta Slim is a real life vampire in here, because that man been like 65 since the Malcolm X movie that came out like 30 years ago. I'm not even kidding. He looks exactly the fucking same. Like, what is the skincare routine? Like, that man's probably like 105 years old playing like a 60-year-old man. Somebody needs to give him some garlic. I'm trying to see some. I feel like the garlic they gave him in the movie wasn't even real. It was probably like, I don't know, some candy that looked like garlic. Or, I don't know, maybe somebody from Cake Talk made him some garlic looking shit out of clay and fondant or something, and that wasn't actually real garlic. Because, sir, why haven't you aged in like 30 years? You've been old all your life. Without any sense of empathy or compassion, to look at a character like Delta Slim and just think, oh, he's just an old drunk, whatever the hell. And there's a certain judgment that comes with, being an alcoholic or suffering some type of substance abuse, and how people are considered weak. But when we listen to Delta Slim talk about his experiences and talk about how a lot of his friends are in prison, how he witnessed somebody get lynched, and how experiences like that were common back then, we started to understand that freedom for Delta Slim means having a drink and forgetting about the drama so that he could focus on his music and connecting with his people more. That is what freedom means for Delta Slim. And Delta Slim's character was important because, yeah, he brought a little bit of seriousness into it, but he was also had a lot of comedic relief that really brought joy to this movie. Like, this movie, yeah, everybody died at the end, but like, I feel like this movie was a great celebration of Black joy, and Black joy is so revolutionary, it's so needed, it's so important. So I really like Delta Slim's character and what he represents, and I feel like a lot of people in the Black community specifically have relatives that are similar to Delta Slim, where people may judge them because they have substance issues or whatever. But if you actually pay attention, if you actually listen to them and such, you see that there's a reason why they resort to substances. There's a reason why they are the way that they are. And I just feel like I have more empathy for him. Like, I just feel more empathy. Like, I don't feel judgment towards him for being an alcoholic. I feel a sense of empathy and understanding. And, like, you know what? I have no idea how I would have been able to survive in that time period. Whatever it is you got to do to get through life, do it. Because a lot of his friends died. And he felt like, you know, I may not see tomorrow, but I see this drink. I may not have a long life, and I may not be able to experience so many things, but I can have fun. And he was really, like, I feel like his character was a very carpe diem, you know, you only live once. Like, had that sort of vibe about him. And I don't know, I just thought that was so deep, the way that his character was done. I feel like when Delta was telling Sammy about his friend being lynched in his face and everything, and how he started humming, and how they're like, hey, you got a guitar, you know, join him. It just really shows how the blues was created. It was a coping mechanism for our ancestors to help deal with and process trauma. And now scientists is just now figuring out that music is a coping mechanism for trauma. Like, science is just now figuring that out, but our ancestors men knew it. And it's one of the reasons why I feel like other races of people shouldn't be playing the blues, specifically white people, because white people created the circumstances in which our ancestors started singing the blues in the first damn place. And now you're gonna play it because you like the sound of it, but you have no way of being able to historically relate to what created this genre in the first damn place. And I also feel like Ryan was trying to tell us we need to gatekeep our culture more and not let everybody in. And we really need to focus on creating some safe spaces for each other and not let everybody into the cookout. Every single time there is a white person lip syncing to a rap song or doing a proper popular trendy dance, there's these numb nuts for brains in the comments like, oh, you get a pass, you're welcome to the cookout, you're welcome to the cookout. Stop inviting these people to the fucking cookout. They shouldn't even know that the cookout exists in the first damn place. They used to eat us. There is a book called The Delectable Negro. Our hair is still sitting in their furniture today. Our skin is still used to make leather accessories sitting in their house today. They used to have lynching parties. And it used to be a family event. And it used to make our ancestors like Delta go to those parties and play the blues to provide a vibe. They still have those postcards today. They don't need to be invited to the fucking cookout. We need to be safe, okay? I felt like that was one of the messages in the movie. Stop inviting these people to the cookout. I've never seen other races of people do this. Like, we're so welcoming, we're so family oriented, we're so community based, we're so like everybody's welcome to our space. We are not welcome into everybody's space, and we need to have that same energy and protect ourselves and protect our space because of cases like what Delta Slim was providing. Like, oh, the white people, you know, they were super rich. The white people, they were super rich, and they invited us to come play. They were dancing and they tried to stay on beat. I called that They were dancing and they tried to stay on beats. And everybody had a good time. We left. We went our separate ways. And one person tried to go off and do something with that money and start a business or something. But white people searched him, found the money, and lynched him. Created a story about how he raped somebody's wife and killed the man and stole the money. And that was the end of him. We need to protect our spaces. We need to protect our culture. We need to stop being so welcoming. We need to stop inviting everybody in. Just because you can sing a little tune, just because you can play a little instrument, just because you sing nice, don't mean you need to be welcome over here. I don't see other cultures doing this. You know, like I don't. Like black people be every fucking well. We be in Ireland, Mexico, Japan. Like we speak all kinds of languages and stuff. I don't ever see videos of other groups of people see black people consuming their culture and be like, you're invited to whatever the equivalent of a cookout is in their culture. Like I never see it. Please point it out to me if you do, but I never see it, and we really need to stop doing that shit. And I feel like that was one of the main messages of the video. Like, they not like us, y'all. Stop inviting them. Okay, stop inviting them. We have never been safe in their spaces. They don't need to be safe in ours, because as soon as some shit goes down, it puts everybody in danger. So I just feel like one of the main things was like, stop inviting people to the cookout. Stop telling them about the cookout. They shouldn't even know what the fuck a cookout is. Mary's character really annoyed me because she was about to get on the train. She said she came into town to go to her mother's funeral, and she stopped to go talk to Stack. And she didn't just talk to him. She was yelling. She was being vulgar. He's trying to be discreet. He's whispering. He's like, hey, keep your voice down. You know, don't cause too much attention. And she is just being loud. She put him and every black person, specifically black men, in that train station in danger because of her white privilege. She know damn well that if those white people saw a white woman in distress surrounded by black men, they wouldn't think to ask any questions. Everybody would just have to go. She put them in danger just the first few minutes that she was on screen. Her presence in our space is a threat to us. And then she took it up a notch to assert dominance onto that danger that we already have. And if she truly loved Stack and truly felt a kindred spirit connection to the black community, she would have never thought that that was a good idea. It would have never been an option. She would have never thought that was a good idea. It never would have been an option. Like, you guys heard of cases like Emmett Till. That was a common thing back then. She put everybody at risk of being lynched just because she wanted to confront him about leave her the fuck alone. And he was just like, hey, I made sure that you were set up with a nice rich white man. What more do you want from me? Because it's not safe for either of us to be together in these times. And I didn't want to put you in danger. I didn't want to put my people in danger. And yet you're doing all of this. And for what? I still don't want your ass. But she just kept insisting on being in his face. And I don't get it. Like, girl, go home to your husband. What are you even doing here? I get that she was sensitive because her mom had just died. And apparently her mom had helped nurse him back to health. And she was the midwife of his mom because he was sideways when he was born. And then his mom passed from complications of birth, which was unfortunately a very common thing because modern science just wasn't a thing. But also, one of the reasons why she probably had a midwife in the first place was because Black people were not allowed in a lot of hospitals back then. Like, we were not allowed to seek medical treatment. So if we didn't have midwives, if we didn't have healers in our community to help us with things, a lot of us would not be here today because our ancestors would not have survived the traumas and everything. So, like, that was really deep. I also suspect that in order for her mom to be in a situation, her mom was probably like a light-skinned Black woman, not someone that is as passing as Mary is. And I feel like if Mary really wanted to live her life as a Black woman instead of the privileged white woman, she would not have been moving the way that she was moving. Like, it was just giving very toxic, what we now know as being a Karen behavior, and I don't fucks with it. I'm sorry, I can't do it. People were saying that they thought Annie was giving auntie, and then they thought that Smoke and Annie getting together was incest, and that they thought that she was his mom. That lady got this close to that man's ear and said, I see your body remembers me. And you guys thought auntie. You guys thought mom. It's giving misogynoir, which is a combination of racism and sexism, which Black women experience intersectionally, and it's also giving fat phobia and how you view fat, dark-skinned Black women as being maternal and caregivers more so than sexism, which is also a play on the whole Madonna horror complex that a lot of men have, where they place you as either being a mom or a hoe, and there's no in between, and that determines how they treat you. And y'all have a lot to unpack with that whole thing. That man got some flowers and laid on their baby's grave. And went to go visit her. And you guys thought auntie, mom, sister, incest. As for the incest allegations, it's just given, don't bring that European nonsense in this ethnic household. Just because you guys were going around messing around with your cousins and your parents or siblings, don't mean that our people were doing that shit. So don't bring that around here, because we were not doing that, okay? We weren't doing it. Except for those breeding camps in which it was forced on us by your ancestors. But we weren't doing that shit on purpose. No. I really love Annie's character and how it alludes to hoodoo. Because they don't say the word hoodoo. But if you're a spiritual person and you recognize spiritual practices, it's very obvious that what Annie was doing was hoodoo. And how her practice was centered around helping her community. Because she accepted the wooden coins and the plantation dollars. And Smoke was trying to say, why are you accepting this fake money? You'll never be able to leave this place. Let me give you something real. And she's like, I don't want anything to do with your money, because that comes with stipulations. That comes with trauma. I know that your money isn't clean. And he's like, well, that's the same for all money. No, not like yours. Like, it's a difference. Like, she cared more about serving her community and the sacrifices that she would have to make in order to do that than she did about just trying to get rich, because she understood that her spiritual practice was a gift from her ancestors, and that it was her job to also be a gift to her community so that we can have what we need spiritually, medically speaking, that we weren't able to get in other spaces. And how her spiritual connection, like she said that she learned everything from her grandma, and how powerful that is, that her grandma was able to bring that spirituality and connection from generations through all the trauma that is slavery, and how we're still able to benefit from that today. It is such a powerful thing. Even, with Christianity being forced on us and everything, like, it's such a powerful thing. I feel like a lot of people feel like the spiritual connection in this movie was just related to Annie's character and the hoodoo, but the whole movie has a lot of spiritual connections because it's just so deep. It's so many layers. It's how the interaction between the preacher and Sammy, it's Rhythmic and the clan couple, it's the vultures that were circling the clan couple's house and the juke joints. It's the clan guy that owned the juke joint that sold it to the twins. It's the relationship that Smoke and Stack has to Bo and Grace. It's Sammy, it's Delta, it's Cornbread. Like, spirituality is just interwoven and interconnected throughout the whole film. And it's not just Annie and her hoodoo practice. And a lot of you are not going to get what I mean by that, but the girls that get it, get it. And, I feel like that was a very important thing. Okay, so, not related, but seeing those wooden coins, like, first of all, I didn't know that plantation money was a thing before this movie. American education system has truly filled me, but that's a different conversation for a different day. But like, I didn't know that plantation money was a thing. So when I saw the plantation money that Annie had, it was like a red bill, and I saw the wooden coin, and how she said how they were saying that money is only good for the plantation to use and circulate amongst each other. It's not good for anything else outside of that, and how hard people had worked just to get that. It reminded me of when I used to be a stripper, and how strip clubs would allow customers to pay you in stripper money, and that money would only be good to use in a club, and how it doesn't work in the real world. Like, I don't know. I'm going to try and go through this whole process quickly because it doesn't have anything to do with sinners. It's just something that I connected to, something that I personally experienced. So stripper money, in case you've never been to a strip club before, I have never been to a strip club as a customer. I've only been there as a worker. So back when I was a stripper, the clubs used to allow customers to pay us in stripper money. And stripper money was a way for customers to pay us in this fake monopoly money that would only be good for the club. Like, it's only a valid form of currency for the club. And the customers would have to pay to get this money. But also the dancers would have to pay to translate the money back into money. So we were both being scammed. But the whole thing was that, like, strip clubs ATM fees are crazy. Like, most ATMs only charge like $2 or $3, but their ATMs would be like $10, $15, $20, $30. And they would tell them, hey, instead of going to the ATM and paying the fees of the ATM, you could come over here and buy stripper money instead. And also, it was a way so that when customers that weren't supposed to be there bought the stripper money and they would see the bill on their credit card statements, it would be like the LLC, the LLC that owns the club and not the name of the club. So if they bought the money from the ATM, if they got the money from the ATM, then they feel uncomfortable having that amount of money walking around, but they felt more comfortable with the stripper money. Like, I don't know, it was a whole thing. But when I hated getting paid in stripper money because outside the club I couldn't use that shit. Like, I could tip other people out in stripper money. I could buy a drink in stripper money and everything, but it was not as valuable as real money. Like, for every $10 that somebody paid me in this fake ass Monopoly money, it would be $8, which doesn't seem too bad because there's only $2 and you still get 8 out of the 10. But if I at the end of the night had gotten like 10 of these $10 stripper bills, instead of getting $100, it would be 80, and so on and so forth. So I don't know, like, did strip clubs get inspired by slave money? Like, what the fuck happened? But I don't know. That's like a connection that I had made personal to my life. And I wonder if any other dollar trippers have seen this movie and also noticed that connection. Like, well, wait a damn minute. Wait a damn minute. I know they didn't. I know they did not just. Oh my gosh. Life does not. Life does not. Oh my gosh. But I made that connection when I saw that. I was like, wait a damn minute. What the fuck? But yeah. I feel like the music. If you don't want to see this movie for anything else, go see it for the music scene, okay? The music scene is just, it's so nice. Like, when I saw the music scene, I was like, this reminds me of when I'm reading a good book, okay? A good book. And the book stops feeling like a book and like a whole movie starts playing in my head. That's what this reminds me of. Like, that whole music scene. Like, it was so powerful. It also reminds me of like when I was learning about quantum physics and how they would say that everything is happening all at once and time isn't linear and we're always in connection with our future and our past selves, and how African spirituality is all about having connection with your ancestors and ancestral veneration and all of that, and just how it all connects. Like, it was so beautiful how so many forms of arts, ancestors, and connection were celebrated. I just felt like it was so heartwarming. And how it reminds me of that painting called Sugar Shack from Good Times. Like, I feel like it was that painting coming to life. Like, it was so cool. But yeah, like, I just love that music scene. That music scene was so cool. It also showed like how Sammy is so much more powerful than he thinks he is. Like, I know Sammy feels the music and everybody was able to feel the vibe, but you know, we're as an audience are to assume that they didn't know that those spirits were there. We're to assume that those spirits were invisible to them, but Remick could see it, and that is what attracted him to there in the first place. And that's why I feel like Remick and the preacher are the same thing. Like, the real vampire is the preacher, okay? Because how he was attracted to them because of Sammy's music and the power that he possessed to bring in the ancestors, and how all that connects. Like, it was such a beautiful scene. I was like, oh my goodness. This is so beautiful. I love it so much. Oh my god. I really love how everybody just came together and loved on Sammy and protected him with their life. and how it was such a stark comparison to how his father had treated him. Like, it was such a stark contrast. Like, his father didn't want him out here in these streets performing for people outside the church because he needed him to bring people into the church. He didn't want, people leaving the church to go see him. Like, it was so powerful. It was so layered. Like, oh my goodness. Again, like, if you don't see this movie for nothing else in theaters, go see it for that music scene, because that music scene was just so beautiful. It was so powerful. Like, oh my goodness. There's a few controversial sex scenes in this movie, but I feel like the sex scenes were just so respectful. Like, they alluded to certain things happening, and you knew what was going on, but they weren't zoomed in and showing you every fucking thing. But you knew what the fuck was happening, and I really love that because I saw this movie with my sister, and I still don't know what to do with when sex scenes come on screen and I'm with my family. Like, I'm really out here watching Perlene get her cat ate next to my big sister. Like, what the fuck am I supposed to do right now? But yeah, like, it was cool. I feel like Perlene's character kind of represents sexual liberation for women, and also how Sammy's character transformed from adolescent to young adult, not just because of the sex scene, but also because of how powerful his music was and the effect it had on him, on the community, and how everybody was just so happy to hear him play the guitar and hear him sing. Like, everybody understood the assignments, okay? Everybody understood the assignments when it came to Sammy playing, and how that inspired other people to also play instruments and sing, and how Perlene was like so inspired and empowered to play on stage. I really like the scene where she's stumping on stage and then it pans over to them stumping that one guy out, and how everything is on beat. Chef's kiss, okay? Chef's kiss.
Sometimes compliments to the chef, chef's kiss is not enough. I need to go to the back of the kitchen and fuck the chef. I need that chef to pull his pants down. I need him in me.
That was such a nice, that was nice how he was able to connect those two, because it really shows how, yeah, the twins and like black people were capable of celebrating and creating so much joy, so much connection, and so much community. But also, we don't play about people coming over here trying to ruin things. Take that somewhere else. I feel like it would have made more sense for the guy that was getting stumped out to become the first vampire than Mary, because I could see them kicking him out and then him getting got and somehow being let back in or something. But I like how it played out differently, because it really showed how you really gotta watch out for, certain people. Like, it really be them entitled white women that'll have you guys out here fucked up. But yeah, I really enjoyed it. I really hate how everybody is like hating on Perlene for cheating on her husband when Mary was also cheating on her husband with a man that told her multiple times to get the fuck away from me. And that is giving colorism. Like, some of y'all have been posting thirst traps about Mary. Some of y'all ashy, dusty, crusty ass Negroes have been posting about, oh man, if I was in that film, I Mary would have got me. And that's the problem. That's literally the whole point of the movie, is that is the problem. Y'all keep letting these white women in your lives, like, and look where it gets you. And then I was just like, I don't know, Mary's character just really annoyed me. The way that she talked to Sammy, the way she was like, boy, if you don't get out of my face, like, who's a boy? Who's a boy? Because last time I checked, my cousins are the one that owned this place. And I saw him tell you to go somewhere at the train station. What are you even doing here? And then you're going to say, oh boy, if you don't get out of my face. I was ready for somebody to check Mary. I was waiting for somebody to check Mary. When she was like, oh, I'll beat anybody in here. You taught me how to fight. And he let her say that.
Bombastic side eye. Criminal offensive side eye.
I was ready for somebody to turn around and be like, who you gonna fight? You about to fight who? Oh, okay. Yeah, that's what I thought. Like, I was ready for somebody to check Mary. Like, a lot of people were blaming Grace for the end of the scene, but the real problem is Mary. He already told Mary, don't worry about it. We'll get the money some way. And she was like, oh, no, I'll go out there. They'll talk to me. They trust me. They're more likely to talk to me than they are to talk to you. Let me go see what they're seeing. Let me go see what they're talking about. Let me go see if they got some money. And then she decides to walk her little happy ass out there and effed around and found out. Like, when she turned her back after Remick already tried to bite her and she wasn't running, I already knew that she was gone. And then when Remick started floating and flying towards her, and she saw her back towards him, absolutely not. Okay? First of all, you should have been back on that damn train to go back home to your white ass husband and not be over here putting all these black people in danger in the first damn place. And now you gotta be the first vampire to turn people for the night. And you ain't even supposed to be here. Okay, so I hate to do this to y'all. I really do. But my phone died at the recording of this video. So the angle is a little different and whatnot. That's why. And I realized after that happened and I charged my phone up that the last video I recorded was about an hour and 12 minutes. And I know that if I continue where I left off at, that you guys will be sitting here for like 2 hours. So I'm going to end the video right here. But I'm not going to make y'all wait no 2-3 weeks or whatever for the part 2. I'm going to be posting that part 2 directly after I get done editing this video. I'm going to start editing my second video so you guys can have them back to back. Like, comment, subscribe. I will see you guys later. Okay, bye.